more button.
Okay.
You got it.
Okay. Okay, so this is actually the first step. This link right here, the sign up link, and you actually will have that in an email. It's an email that's been sent to everyone, but I'm going to resend just that profile link so that you have that separate and you're able to easily identify that within your email. You know, everybody's got a ton of emails, so I just want to make sure that you're able to access it. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to walk your client through the process. Okay, so we are going to sign you up, Mark and Maze, and then what email address do you want me to use?
mmaze@mazellc.org.
maze@maesllc.org.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then a password, and I am just going to right now put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you can change that later. You can sign in and change that for yourself later.
I'm just going to leave it that
You're
way.
gonna, that's fine, and maybe your clients will do that also, but since I'm signing up for you, I'm just giving you a default that you can then go and change on your own, and you'll always want to do that for your clients because you want them to realize you're not trying to get into their personal information. Okay, on this that has the maps, the page that has the maps, there are 2 different locations listed here. So you want to select the second location, which is the Technical Assistance Expansion Program. This is what your clients are signing up for. If you go to the other procurement technical assistance, your clients will get a very long and involved process of signing up that you don't want them to have to go through. So, so the second session down at the bottom, or the second location down at the bottom, then we are going to start filling in the information. So what's a phone number that I can use? I'm not good. This phone number is not required. So let's just put a work phone number that is required.
951-785-9000.
Okay, perfect. And no fax number is required. And what's the physical address?
16760 Lake Knoll Parkway, Riverside, California, 92503.
Parkway, Riverside, California, and 92503. 503. Okay, United States. And then gender.
Oh, male. I'm sorry, I was reading the paper.
I know, that's okay. And then race.
I guess
Options.
Yeah, white Caucasian's fine.
Okay,
Or
terrific.
Latino
is also okay. And then that would be white, Caucasian, Hispanic, and Latino or Spanish origin, or
Yes.
just, okay. All right. And then veteran status.
non-veteran,
None. Okay. And then military reserve status.
none.
None. Okay. And then disabled.
No.
No. Okay. See how I'm not telling you what your answers are? I'm asking you to tell me. So that's something that you need to do as a consultant, not tell people what their gender or their race or their whatever. Just let them offer the question and let them answer it, because this is their form, not yours. So we are going to submit. Okay, so now we're talking about their company. So this is something that's important because they may be a startup, and that's okay too. So on the company status, it's really just in business or not in business. So so your company is currently in business.
Yes.
So if you were a startup, then we would say not in business, and then we would answer the questions from there. Okay, so your company name is Maze and Associates.
Yes, ma'am.
That's LLC.
Yes, it's the
I spelled it
word and A&D, not the ampersand.
Oh, okay, terrific. Maze and Associates LLC. Okay, and then your business type. So let's see. This is something that I would probably try to help you with.
Educational services.
Educational services. Yeah, I think that I feel like that's good as we're going to get right now. Well, I just turned you into a wholesale dealer. Okay, let's go back to education. Yeah, that one seems to be the closest. So that's all we're trying to do is get as close as we can. Okay, your website, we can go ahead and put that on there. That's not required, but
You're-
what's your website?
Gosh, I just type all that. Oh, I can't do it.
You don't know it? Don't worry about it.
No, I can tell you. I
required.
was trying to type it in for you. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Maze
you don't have
Associates.
access.
Yeah, MazeAssociates.com. Do you see me over here typing away?
I
Like
did, but I wasn't sure what you were doing. Okay,
thought I was saying it, sending
mazeandassociates.com.
somebody an email.
Okay, did I spell that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Mazeandassociates.com. Okay, terrific. And then the date that your company was established?
Oh,
If you
I've
can just
owned
give
this-
me a generalized month and year, that should be
I'm going to
sufficient.
say May of 2000.
Okay, so 2000, and then we will go to May, and I'll just choose the first day of the month because doesn't have to be that specific. And then the number of full-time employees and the number of part-time employees.
Just me.
Okay, so 1 and 1. Oh, no, because you're full-time. You can't be both. Okay, so then ownership gender is a certification. Okay, so you can say, male, female owned. I don't think there is a certification for that. And so we could leave that, or you could just say choose not to respond unless you have certifications that we could use.
I don't have any certifications. I'm male owned.
Okay, right. Okay, well, there you go. Yeah, that's true. Okay, and then there is no certification date because there is not one for being a male-owned business. And so company veteran status, you said non, so I'm going to put that there. And then organization type is an LLC, which you've already told me. You are not, are you in a distressed area? I don't think you are, right? Do you have an online presence?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Is the business home-based?
Yes.
Okay. And then the company address, and then the mailing address is the same. And then the products or services that you offer.
The product is High Five Priority Business Mapping.
Okay.
And-
So I'm going to say business mapping. Okay. And then give me like a brief description of what that is.
Well, those High Five Priority Business Mapping is a methodology and training platform for business.
Training for businesses. There you go. Okay. All right. So referral from, unless there's a specific referral, in this case, I think it was because the chamber's not on here, so we can also just say none, So I'm going to say, let's leave that empty because it's not required.
Okay.
And then your position is CEO. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And
Well, the
then,
registry name is principal, but it doesn't
okay.
matter.
No, we don't have principal. I have partner, president, sole proprietor, CEO.
Yeah, CEO works great.
Perfect. Okay.
And did you see, real quick, Tammy, did you see on that other referral reference, there was a Chamber of Commerce, but not a Veterans Chamber of Commerce?
There isn't. Yeah. And so I want to make sure that we don't, unless we can specifically see our contract listed there, I don't want it to be confused and for them to think it might have been some other Chamber of Commerce, because they need to know that it's our company. So, okay, so then continue. And then part-time employee, it's a required value, which means 0, but I did not mark that as 0. Okay, so there you go. Okay, so now we are entering, this is the spot where you are entering into an agreement requesting business development assistance from the TAEP program, but all the services that we are providing are through that program. So the services that you're going to receive from the consultants at the chamber is through this program. When you've completed this program at the end of our contract, then you will still be a client of the Riverside Technical Assistance Program, and you can receive further assistance from them. I believe free of charge, but you'd have to check with them to be certain.
Does being a member of this have any negative impacts?
I don't see how. I don't see how being able to get free technical assistance could have any negative impacts. I mean, maybe you'll be on a mailing list or something, but you can always opt out. So
Gotcha. Okay.
yeah.
Awesome.
So okay, so I am going to type in your name with your permission.
Please do.
Okay. All right. So I have signed up as you, and you understand they're not making any promises to you as far as consulting, and this contract and this agreement is, I'm about to click OK. Are we all right with that?
Please do.
Okay.
On my behalf. Thank you.
Okay. So now this is the place where we're going to say what type of services you are looking for. Okay. So if I'm wanting to work with you, like you had said that you wanted to do the mini commercial. So I'm going to put you down like as marketing and sales. Yeah, it's one of the things that you want, right? Because that's something that you wanted. So like learning to make mini commercial. There you go. Okay. And so that's all you're going to do is just whatever that service is, and you'll include that. And then now we are done. Right. So now you are a member of the Technical Assistance Expansion Program. It doesn't impact you one way or the other. This just helps us to be able to provide you services free of charge. And when we're done, you'll also still be able to get services from this organization.
Outstanding.
Okay. So anyway, so that is how you get your client set up as with a new client profile link. Okay. Once you have met with your client, because you should be doing this during the first session with your client, in the case where you've met with them and haven't done it yet, just getting this taken care of, because we can't put in any session notes for this client until they have a profile in that system. Okay. Right. So then when you are ready, after you've met with the client, say we're now at the end of the session, you're going to input your session notes. Okay. And it's just pretty simple, going through, finding your name. We are going to actually right now, to the best of my ability, we're going to put in your session notes. You wouldn't do this with your client in the room. You can do this as soon as you're done meeting with your client, but it's best to do it right in, like let your client go 5 minutes early and just do your session notes as part of that session.
Absolutely.
So that way you're not adding additional time or pushing it off until some other time, and then trying to submit an invoice that can't get paid because you don't have session notes.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. All right. So you are the consultant. Okay. The business name. Now we had said that we needed to input for Red Shoe Project, right?
Yes,
your second session with them. So we are going to put, whoops, there is, don't know why that's coming up as actual text, but okay. So Red Shoe Project. Okay. And when was the session that you had with them?
Bear with me 1 second.
You're fine. This will be a lot easier when you're actually doing it on the same day, because you'll know what day it is and it'll be a lot easier to just plug in the date.
Yeah, I'm going to my notes on the.
Okay, while you're looking for that, I'm gonna, because we're recording, so
Uh-huh.
I don't want it to just be
Yeah,
a
pause it. Please
constant
pause it.
pause. So why don't you keep on looking and I'm going to just move it along. So basically, if this were your first session with the client, you would choose first session. When you do that, it will automatically take you to the setup for the new client profile. So if you have already done that at the beginning of the session, you're able to say, yes, I did that. Please just go to the session notes. If you have not done that yet, you can set that up at this point, especially if your client is still with you. And then you would go to the new client info, and the link is actually in the new client information. So if you can't find your email that I sent you and you can't find the link, it's right here in the form. And so, but I'm going to back it up because Red Shoe Project is an existing client for you. So this is a follow-up session. And I'm going to leave the date at 8/24 right now, unless you have a different date for me.
For Red Shoe, the first one was on 8/12. The
Okay.
second one was on 8/16.
8/16. Okay, I'm going to put that in there. So that's 8/16, and that was a follow-up session. And so when you choose next, it automatically moves you, and you've seen this before, Mark, it just moves you into, okay, now you're going to say what kind of services you provided. Business management would be your option. You met with them online or by phone?
Online.
Okay, online. The length of your second session with them was 1
Hour
hour
and a half.
It was an hour and a half, the second session. Okay, terrific. And then the information that you provided to the client. Okay, this is, so any of these session notes, like right now, we could quickly type this up, but what I really like is the details. Okay, so what kind of information did you discuss with them? What are some of the things? And you don't want to be too general, but you do want to give a good chunk of information. Then the second, the next one down, go ahead.
I just want to interrupt. Can we go back to the previous session? I know right here at the time, just
Yeah.
scroll down, length of session. Let's make that 1 hour, because she wants to have another meeting. And if we do, she's only going to have a half hour of time, and that's not going to be enough time. So we'll make it an hour in this one and an hour on the next one, and then she's done.
Okay, terrific. Okay, perfect. So then this next one would be where you summarize the information that you provided to the client in one sentence. So it's just basically told her how to blah, 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 you know, whatever that is. And then
if you want, we can fill this out right now.
Well, actually, I don't want to fill it out right now because it will take a while. My battery is down to 9%, and I want to make sure I get all the way through before we run out of battery. And also, people don't need to see us fill it out to know that they just leave notes. Just put notes. Like I would say on the consulting session, probably a paragraph and then one sentence. So a paragraph, one sentence, and then the recommendations as like a list of the recommendations that were made. And that should be sufficient. Then you would attach any backup documentation. So if you did a mind map for someone, or you did a worksheet with someone, this is where you would attach that as backup for the session. Then you will ask them this client satisfaction survey question, right? For them to describe one aspect of the session that they found helpful. And then if this is the final session, then you'll say yes, and you'll go to the client success survey and the testimonial video. And if it's not the final session, then you'll just say no. And in this case with Red Shoe Project, it's no. So it automatically submits the form. This is not going to submit because I don't have your notes. As you can see, if you don't submit something, it's going to tell you you have to go back and input this information. So so what I'm going to say is if you want to, you can go back and like input these notes yourself for Red Shoe Project. And so anyway, so then that would be this. Once you can submit these notes, and you submit the notes after each session that you have with the client, when you finish the last session with the client, whatever that is, then you submit your invoice for that client.
The
And
last session.
the last session, yeah, is where that's something that changed. So I know that sounds different from what you've heard before, but that was Joe's decision, was that he wanted to see that a client had been fully met and
I love
engaged
it.
with. Yeah, and so the invoice will be for any client that you have completed the sessions for. So, or just one invoice for each client is fine once you've completed the sessions. So you'll go to the invoice submission form, and this is where you're going to input your invoice. Okay. So, and you've submitted an invoice as well. So basically, I'm going to really quick grab this and get this plugged in, because otherwise you are going to disappear, Mark. Okay. All right. We're plugged in. Okay.
This tab of invoice submission, where was that?
That is
What is
also
that?
in a link. So you received an email that had all the steps, the 5 steps that you walk through. The process that I'm showing you right now is that 5-step process. But I'm also happy to send you an email that says, this is the invoice submission link. Use this when you submit an invoice. Because I feel like people are getting lost in translation somehow. So anyway, so this is basically the same idea. What this is once you submit an invoice, then, and you submit the backup documentation, if I have already input all your session notes, then I can release your invoice to be put in the queue to be paid. But I can't release your invoice until I've got all your session notes. So that's the reason we're going in the order we're going, so that when you do submit your invoice, it's something as simple as I just really quickly input your session notes with the Riverside Community College, and then they're willing to pay your invoice. So anyway, so you're going to do the same thing. You're going to choose your name. You're going to add your invoice date, and the number of your invoice and the amount of your invoice, and then just attach it. And it's literally that simple. So you're going to want to do this because you've done a workshop. So you want to do this, you're going to want to do this for Red Shoe Project, and you're going to want to do this for the workshop that you just did, but you'll do 2 separate invoice submissions. Okay. So once you're completed with Red Shoe Project, then do an invoice and attach it here as a consultant. And then the backup would be any worksheet, any screenshots, anything like that that would show the work that you did with them. And I would say screenshots because sometimes that involves, like, if somebody were doing like social media optimization, they may take screenshots of the person's social media profile to show the benefit. And so so if you don't have screenshots, don't worry about it, because you're somebody who's going to have more likely have a worksheet or something like that. So whatever you have as backup is great. Backup, it does say this is required for you to say what your services were rendered, but the backup is not required. But just know that there is a human being that's checking. And if we have to have backup, I won't release your invoice until I get your backup. So I'll tell you that if there's something that we really have to have and you didn't provide it, I'll let you know. So anyway, and that's it. You just submit your invoice with the backup, and then it gets, once all your notes have been put into the system for that client or for that workshop, it'll get It'll get taken care of. And actually, I said session notes, but there are no session notes for workshops. It's just your documentation. So there's nothing preventing you from submitting your workshop invoice as soon as you've done the workshop. You don't have to wait. You're not waiting for anything. As long as you have all your documents, your registration report or sign up sheet, your handouts, your
Wait,
PowerPoint.
Is there a checklist for this?
There is, it is called this form right here. That's all it is. And as a presenter, your backup is Zoom reports, PowerPoints, and handouts. And you'll see that whenever you submit an invoice, this is what's required. And if you don't know how to provide something, or you don't know how to create a report of something, if you let us know beforehand, like a Zoom report it's something you have to create beforehand. If for some reason you did your workshop and there is no Zoom report, I can come up with a plan to help you. I can figure it out. If you let me know, we can figure it out.
I think that deal that Shelley sent me for the workshop from Eventbrite showed 19 people.
Right. So here's the thing. Unless she did sign-ins in Eventbrite for the actual day of the event, all it is a registration form. It's not an actual attendance sheet. So a sign-up sheet is not just, it's not how many people signed up, it's how many people attended. So like, the Zoom report says these people were actually in your Zoom call. This number of people were in your Zoom call. And so
Zoom
anyway,
report.
and if we don't have a Zoom report, we can create a sign-up sheet for the people who actually attended and get them to, we have to get them all to sign it. So it's better to get it set up in advance. So if you're not sure how to do it, let me know, let Shelley know. With workshops and stuff, it's Shelley. So make sure you talk to Shelley, but I'm going to explain to her how to do Zoom, set it up so she can generate an automatic report for everybody that comes to a workshop.
Yeah, for this first item, the Zoom report on that list, I'm going to go to Shelley for it. The second item,
anything with workshops, before you submit an invoice, if you have any questions, just talk to Shelley, because Shelley's the one who understands. I'm explaining to you the invoice submission form, but I'm not telling you how to work with Shelley because she's the coordinator and she's in charge of that. So, but anyway, so that is it. And she also does have some of these documents.
I'm still not done. I had 2 more questions on the form.
On this form?
Yes.
Okay, sure. What are your questions?
On the bottom, I'm not comfortable. I'm not going to send them my PowerPoints.
You're not sending them to anyone, just so you know. This is backup documentation, and it is what the chamber is using to show that. And so what you could do is you could generate
I'll give you the title page.
So you actually can, let's see. So let me talk to Joe about it and figure out what you can do. It's really, it's completely protected. It's completely copyrighted. Nobody's going to use it. It's literally just backup to prove that you did an actual workshop, and they do need to see the slides. So it could be done as a PDF so that they don't have the ability to edit it or change it, but just so that they can see it. You can attach a PDF of your PowerPoint presentation rather than the actual PowerPoint slides themselves.
I think and I'm not trying to be difficult at all. I want to solve it, figure it out. But I think if it's still, I'll check with my attorney, but I think even a PDF, if I'm submitting a PDF, I'm going to have to submit it with an NDA. You know what I mean? For it to work for me.
Okay. Well, then let me talk to Joe and figure that out. But most people are not going to have this issue. Most people don't have like even copyrighted stuff because this is not, nobody's putting this anywhere. This is literally for accounting. This is for the accounting department. This is not for, this is literally not for anyone to use for anything or to post anywhere or whatever. But I'll talk to Joe and we'll figure out how to, for you to be able to submit what you need to submit, because you do
Yeah.
have to prove that you actually did a workshop. And
Yeah.
that is
Well,
part of it, is providing your PowerPoint, which everyone else is doing. And so
that's great.
most people are not going to have the issue that you're having. So we'll resolve that separately. And then you said you had a couple of questions?
No, that was it. Just the
one.
just
Okay.
the PowerPoints. I can't surrender those without an NDA.
Okay.
But it will easily find a workaround. And I wanted to let you know that I videotaped it. So we also have the videotapes for those, for the ones I do.
For the workshop?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. That could be something that we could, as long as it's not too long or too big of a file, it might be something that you could just attach it as a file. So it's, you know, as long as we're showing the work, that's all that matters.
Yeah, no, I totally get the ask. I absolutely get it. And I agree with it. It's not like you're asking too much. I'm just on the other side. You know why I have to protect that side of it as well. But
Absolutely. No problem. And you might not be the only one who has that issue. And so it's a good question to ask. And if anyone else who is filling out this form is having a problem with their PowerPoints, hopefully it's not going to be a big issue for people. But if it is, then they can contact me. Well, and with respect to doing a workshop and providing the PowerPoints, that's a Shelley question, actually. They don't even need to talk to me. Just talk to Shelley and Shelley will be able to work it out so that we can provide whatever documentation we need to.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
Good.
All right. So then once you've submitted your invoice, you're completely done. And so that's really all we need. So what I'm going to do really quick is I'm going to go back. I am supposedly in Zoom. I don't know why I'm not. Let me do stop screen share. Okay. And then I'm going to see. I thought I was I am recording. Okay, terrific. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and stop recording and save this recording. I'll send it to you, but then I have a couple more things for you, Mark, that I need to ask you about specifically, but I don't want to record those.
Yeah.